Hi guys, it's SJ. Welcome back to my channel. On a Monday, I always do a baby name list. I'm very inventive, so I call it Baby Name Mondays. Really should have thought of a name, shouldn't I? And this week is an A to Z. So quite a lot of you have requested A to Z baby names. I'm doing boy names and they're really good. I've worked so hard on this list. It's on my phone. And I wanted to do kind of the great, perfect boy names that are like rare and unique, so you're not going to hear them every single day, even though there are some more popular ones in here as well, some unranked ones, but really wearable, good, strong boy names that I think could pass the veto test. I have put in a few little wild cards because I know you love them really. And this video, you might be new because it is in collaboration with one of the all-time loveliest YouTubers you will ever meet, and that is Gabriella. If you don't know Gabriella, she isn't a mum, but she does brilliant baby name videos, and that's kind of how we started to watch each other a lot. But we've got loads in common. Like, she also talks a lot about weight loss and healthy eating, and she's doing the WW plan at the moment, done loads of videos about that. She does lots of decluttering. She, to me, is really different from anyone else I watch on YouTube. I find her really relaxing to chat to, as if I'm chatting to her when I'm watching her videos. That's probably how she makes you feel. She's just really down to earth, normal, nice, and it's never contrived. And she does great, unique ideas as well. She's done some painting videos that are really good. She is doing the A to Z of girl names. So yeah, we decided that she would do girls and I would do boys. We both also thought that boys was harder, so I've taken on the challenge. But if you would like to see me do the girl version of this list, let me know in the comments below, and let Gabby know over on her channel if you want her to try the boys, because it's harder. Chuck you that one, Gabby. Okay, so A is for Amos. I've mentioned the name Amos before as a more daring alternative to favourite James. Amos is also a Hebrew name. I absolutely love it. I think it sounds so cool. I think it's a bit like an Ezra a few years ago. It's short and sweet, even like a Noah a few more years ago. It's going to come up. It's coming up through the ranks. I checked and it is literally doing this. It's spiking. I like to say it's because I've mentioned it before. It means strong or brave. So it's a really good, solid boy name. And it's number 719 at the moment, so I reckon get in there fast with Amos if you like it, because I think you'll be like ahead of the curve with that one, and that's such a good place to be. Well, not two, I'm like got Freddie and Finn, and I picked the names and then they both went really popular right after, but it's good to be at the front. Oh yeah, for my B name, B is for Barnaby. Barnaby is actually Finn's middle name, and I absolutely loved it. I would have gone with it as a first name, but I already had a Fred, and Fred and Barnaby sounds a little bit Flintstone-y. I love the meaning. It means son of comfort. That is so lovely. Originally the name was Barnabas, the old traditional Hebrew name I think it was, and you could have Barnabas. I really like that as well. I like the S ending, it's sweet, but I just really like the B ending. I think it's just soft and nice for a boy. Barnaby sounds very cuddly, and son of comfort seems to work for that. C is for Cedric. Now, I reckon Harry Potter immediately springs to mind. I tried not to do too much Harry Potter trivia on here because I always mess it up, even though I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, huge J.K. Rowling fan. Cedric is just such a great name, and I like the C with the S sound with it. So he was Cedric Diggory, who was actually the son of Amos Diggory. Harry Potter fans, I've got your back. That is quite funny, isn't it? Because I had Amos and I found this out after. It had a peak a few years ago. It's going back down. That probably was around the time the movies came out. Everyone loves Cedric Diggory. The name actually means kind and loved. When you hear Cedric, what do you think of? Old man or the handsome Cedric Diggory? So D is for Digby. I love this name. These are names I have mentioned in the past that generally got a good reception on my channel, which is why I thought I'd put them all together. I love Digby, but a lot of people online don't like this name and associate it more as a dog's name. Maybe because of Digby, the biggest dog in the world, one of my all-time favourite movies. When I was little, I tried to get the boys into that actually. I need to try again. But it means ditch by a farm, so it's not got the most glamorous meaning either. Digby to me is so playful, fun, handsome, cool hipster. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think Diggs is a really cute nickname for a little boy. I just think the whole thing has got so much going for it. So I am a mad fan of the name Digby, and yeah, let me know what you think of it. This next name is really having its moment, and it's the name Evander. So what do you think of the name Evander? It is really popular at the moment. I think those Evie sounds, particularly for girls, like I have an Evelina, Evie, all those names are really popular at the moment, and Evander is suddenly becoming really popular. It's a bit like an Alexander, isn't it, or a Xavier, but unusual, so I can see why it's getting lots of popularity at the moment, but it's just gone like that all of a sudden. Is it on a Netflix show or something? Tell me. It's from Roman/Greek mythology, so it's a really, really interesting name. I think it just sounds really boyish with that Andrew sort of ending. The Evan is a name, it just sounds really good, and I love long boy names as well, and obviously I like that E and V sound. So what do you reckon of it? The next name, F, is for Faisal. This is an Arabic name, and the pronunciation is the only hard thing about this name. I love it pronounced Faisal, and that's how I've been kind of saying it in my head. I just think it sounds super duper cool. I just think it's so unique and so different, such a different type of sound. I love F names. I have 2 of them. It's an Arabic name, as I said, and it means resolute, but the pronunciation, I've got a couple of different pronunciations. Apparently it could be Faisal, more like that, or other people say it should be Faisal, rhyming with vessel. So let me know, do you know a Faisal? Faisal. I just think it's a great name, no matter how you pronounce it. It's so cool, sounds really bang on trend. I like Faye as a nickname as well for a boy. I think it's really, really trendy. The next name is totally unranked. I recently met somebody called Godfred, and I loved it, so I wanted to do G for Godfred. It was somebody out in Ghana where I was just traveling, and I just fell in love with his name. Can't believe it's totally unranked. Fred is a great nickname. Obviously I have a Fred, and it's a mixture of God meaning good, and then Fred kind of translates as tranquil or kind, so kind of like a good friend kind of thing. It's really lovely, isn't it? I just think it's really cool. It reminds me of kind of like Wilfred, which has gone huge. I know so many Wilfs, and I love it, but Godfred could be the next one. Yeah, I reckon it's a good one. Good contender, a good one. For H, I had to use my favourite boy name, which is Hugo. I'm not going to have a baby Hugo, which I'm still quite sad about. It's a German origin name, and it means mind. It's at number 48. It's really had its kind of, you know, big push from being quite seen as a posh name that you wouldn't really use, a bit outdated, posh and stuffy, to becoming right back into trend again. But it's such a good name. I've always talked about this name because it was my one, so I wanted to add it on my boy list today. But what do you reckon of Hugo? So for I don't know why, I've had this little crush on this name lately, and I thought I'd chuck it in there, but it's a mad wild card. You'll be like, she's lost it now. So what about the name Icarus? So again, going with those kind of like more out there mythological names. Icarus was the son of, is it Daedalus? And they were trapped in this maze, and remember they made those wings? And then it was just such a brilliant story, and then they flew off, and they managed to fly up. Icarus flew too close to the sun, and his wax melted and his wings fell, and probably, yeah, I think he bounced off the ground and is absolutely fine for kids watching. But I just really thought the name was suddenly so cool. Like if you were looking for a really out there name, everyone, I reckon everyone knows that story. I'm sure I learned about it a lot when I was younger. I think even Freddie knows about it, and obviously it's a moral tale about don't fly too close to the sun, your wings will melt, and we talk about it. But I just think, imagine that iconography of the wings and Icarus if you're into an out there name. Russ is a very well known name, could be a nickname. Indy, it's got a bit of those vibes, doesn't it? Icarus. I feel some of you rolling your eyes at me. I can feel you. But go for it, go with me, go with me. And the next one is a massive one I love as well, for J, Jacobi. Jacobi is so cool. Definitely put this on your list if you are having a baby boy. It's like Jackson is so popular. Jackson was the fastest rising name of last year. You know, so many Jacksons spelled either the traditional way or with an X. Jacob I love, and I would love to use the name Jacob, but it is so popular. So Jacobi, suddenly best of both worlds is not hardly being used, but is so much cooler. It is at number 2172, so it's really not being used very much. It's taken from the original Hebrew, I think it was pronounced Yaakov, which I think Jacob and everything comes from, of course. But Jacobi just sounds so lovely. I love B as a nickname, love it for boys or girls. Just think it's such a cool one. As you can tell, I can't stop talking about it. Let's move on. K is for the name Kip. Now, I love the name Kip. I have a friend with a little boy Kip, and I just think it's brilliant. Reminds me of being very outdoorsy, kind of adventurous, kind of like a scout type of name. But other people are like, no, I don't get it at all. Kip is when you have a sleep, and prefer kit with a T, but I just really like Kip. It means pointed hill, so it's naturey as well. It's outdoorsy, it's fun, it's different. And I wanted to pop it on my list for K because I love it, but I would love to know what you think of it. Now, L is for the name Ludo. Ludo is a short form of Ludovic. I love this name. I've talked about it over on my Instagram. I had an Instagram baby name Envy, which I will link below, and is totally dormant and unloved at the moment, but I need to get it back because I loved doing it. And actually, when I talked about the name Ludo, it had such a positive response. I think then we had a baby Ludo born in our community, which is brilliant, and it's having its big moment at the moment. So don't be scared of the name Ludo. I know there is a game called Ludo, but it's a really, really trendy one, and it means famous warrior. So if you're trying to sell that in to anyone who wants a strong boy name, you can easily do so. For me, if I met a baby Ludo, I think it is really trendy, really sweet, really daring and funky and cool, and you're all those things. You are Ludo. Or M is for Moss. Another name I talked about, my first ever name on baby name Envy actually. I love it. I've talked about it in my nature name lists, but it gets so much good response. Again, I wanted to include it here. It's just a really, really strong name. It's a well-named surname as first name. It's a nature name. It's a descendant name from Moses as well. So if you're looking for, you could go with the long form Moses and nickname Moss if you weren't keen on just going with Moss. And obviously all those Hebrew names coming back in. It doesn't rank very much at the moment. There are a few baby Mosses around, but it's only outside the top 3,000. So you definitely have a unique name on your hand, one everyone can spell, use, doesn't sound strange. You know, Ross is a very well-known name. What about Moss? For N, I'm back in the safety zone, back in our comfort blanket, I can relax, is the name Nate. It's one of my all-time favourite names. I think it suits older men, teenagers, babies so well. I just think it's really lovely. It's quite American. I hear it much more on like American dramas. Do you think so? I know a couple of Nathaniels, which is the longer form, which I think is lovely as well, but it could be for a Nathan or just using the nickname by itself. Like we do that a lot these days, even, you know, old Megs and Harry with Archie. I've lost my notes now about Nate. Means gift from God, which is a good one. It's at number 335 and it's just steadily rising. It's actually getting more and more popular at the moment. O is for Oakley. I love this name, could not get it past my husband who only thought of the brand, but it means oak tree grove. So it's a beautiful nature name. I just think it is absolutely gorgeous. I think Oaks as a nickname is stunning. It's rising in popularity a lot, so it's already at number 142. Can you believe that? Do you know an Oakley? I've never met an Oakley in real life, to be honest, but I've seen it a lot on Instagram, which is like all my best ideas. And I just really, really, really loved it. But would the brand put you off at all? Henrik just couldn't get past it. But some people really like brand names as baby names as well. P is another name that's trending right now. You're going to love it. It's the name Percival. Now Percival has that surname as first name, cool. I like the name Percy, but I know Percy is a little bit divisive because it's one of those old-fashioned man names that hasn't quite come back into fashion yet. But I do know a baby Percy and it's the cutest thing ever. But Percival is really trending at the moment. Percival was Knight of the Round Table, so that whole King Arthur thing is really cool at the moment. People are loving that. It means pierces the valley. Literally, it's going crazy. I was looking, it's like one of those outside contenders that suddenly leapt up the ranks. It's just inside the top 2,000 now, but I reckon it's going to be like booming up. A bit like a Jackson, you know, there's nothing so strange about Percival or a Franklin. Percival sounds really, really lovely, in my opinion, but I would like to know again what you reckon. Q is for Quincy. Quincy is such a cool name. I've talked about the name Quill before, Quillo. Quincy is great and it means fifth son, so it's kind of a French vibe to it as well, which I think you'll really, really like. Quinn is really getting popular for girls, isn't it, at the moment? So I think Quincy for boys should also have its little moment, its little shine at time. There were only 22 baby Quincy's last year, but it's really getting popular. So it's gone from number 1,339 in 2013. It's already at number 628. I've got a Finn Barnaby boo looking at me. What are you doing sneaking around here? You have to come and say hi if you're sneaking in. R is for Roscoe. Would you be a little good Roscoe, wouldn't you? I would have loved to use the name Roscoe, but I didn't know it back then. I was just looking at my normal baby name. So you would be Roscoe. Guess what Roscoe means? Deer forest. And we're Swedish, so you could be deer forest.
Mummy, but then stay with you.
Okay, you can stay with us. Roscoe, I really like it. The only thing that put me off this name was the short form of Ross, and I wasn't so keen on Ross by itself. Reminds me of Ross from Friends, to be honest, even though he's one of my faves. But if you always could stick with the Roscoe, Deer Forest is probably the most epic name meaning in the world. So for T, I've done a Shakespearean baby name, Finn. What do you reckon of the name? Tybalt. Tybalt! It's so cool. It's in Romeo and Juliet, and the name Romeo is getting used. Benvolio, I talked about before. I think Tybalt sounds so cute. I liked Toby for you, and I think Tybalt is really trendy. Bolt is getting popular.
I like Tybalt.
You don't like Tybalt? Well, Theodore is really popular, and it's a derivative of Theodore. You like Theodore, Theo, so why not Tybalt?
Yeah.
U is for Usher, and guess what Usher means? Usher means baby bear in French. So I just really liked that when I found that, and hope I'm pronouncing it right. If you are French, you'll probably be like, it doesn't mean any of those things.
But learning about space.
You're learning about space at school, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it also means, that's interesting because this name Usher also means dawn in Sanskrit, and dawn is the morning. Lost Finn, he's gone off to play again. V is for Victor. Now Victor is a very well-known name, but it doesn't get used all the time, and it means to win or winning. It's got that modern virtue sound to it. To me, I always think of it as like a real 1940s cool name, like retro and vintage. There are lots of saints called Victor, so again, I think it's a really amazing choice that isn't used enough. W is for Woodrow. So I really like the name Woody. I really like it, and it was really popular a few years ago, but I think Woodrow sounds even better. Woody Harrelson's full name is actually Woodrow. So I think it's really cool. I know Toy Story is a big association for Woody for a lot of people, but I love that. Like, it's a Disney name as well. But Woodrow is a little bit different. There were 28 boys named Woodrow last year, the full form of it. So it's just outside the top 1,000, but again, it's one that's like really nudging its way up fast. So you could be hearing Woodrow a lot around. For me, it sounds really lovely. I think it would be beautiful for a girl as well. Oh yeah, I'd love that for a girl. So X is a really hard one, but I've gone for the name Xavier. It is the short form for Xavier, which is a Spanish name meaning the new house. So I just thought that Xavier is a little bit different, and when you see it written down, I think it looks really cool, the X and the V together. Xavier is really well known, so I don't think it would be too hard for people to understand how to pronounce it. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I just think it sounds really cool. I like the sound of it. It rhymes with navy, all those favourite things I like about it. But yeah, you can pop it in the middle spot as well. But if you've got like a Hugo or like a Victor, like a strong vintage name, or like a Frederick, Xavier in the middle sounds really, really good. Like, I like that juxtaposition of like vintage and modern, and that sounds bang on trend to me. Y is a really hard one, and the name I've gone with, I've sort of fallen in love with it, and it is the name Eve. For a boy. So Eve is so popular for girls. We talked about that earlier on with Evander, that sound and the Evelyn trend that's going on. But Eve is quite well known. Obviously it's French, so the Y is silent, so maybe that's a bit of a cheat. Don't know. So we all know a bit of the name Eve from the brand, but I think it just looks beautiful, and it means yew tree apparently, or yew wood, but another meaning for it is apparently archer. So it's quite lovely, isn't it? It's got like a kind of traveller vibe about it. Really different, really stand out, I think. You might get the S being put on the end, it'll be Eves, which also I don't mind. I think that also sounds really, really lovely. What do you reckon of Eve? Do you think it's too out there for like Brits, Americans? Obviously in France, if you're French, is it still used quite a lot? We have a 7 baby Eve born in the UK last year, but obviously they could be to French families, but I reckon it's a cool one. Z, I've gone for Zayn, another Arabic name. I really like the name Zayn. I think it is so lush. Obviously it's become really well known through One Direction star Zayn, solo artist I should say, who is lovely and gorgeous, and the name means beauty or grace. So how lovely is that? I love that name meaning for a boy. It's at number 190, so it's not being used all the time. You wouldn't hear it often, but well enough that everyone knows the name Zayn. What do you reckon of it? So that's my A to Z. I'm sorry it is so long. I hope you've stuck around for the whole thing. I tried to go as fast as I could, and I probably went too fast at times, but I love giving you the meanings and the stats and a bit of info about the names as well. Don't forget to go to Gabby's channel and listen to her A to Z of girl names. She has beautiful name choices. We've really got the same kind of style. I love her unusual choices as well. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what she has as her A to Z. If you are new from Gabby's channel, don't forget to say hi in the messages below. I love the chatting bit. Thank you so much for hanging out this evening, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye guys.